Columbia and the river have had a parallel history for more than 200 years, and what you see in one, in some cases, is a reflection of the other. It was instrumental in locating the city in the first place. In the late 1700s, the legislature concluded that the location then occupied by the state capitol in Charleston was too far for the upcountry people to travel to conduct their political business, and so an enterprising legislator named Gervais put forward a bill to create the city of Columbia on the banks of the Congaree River. Once established, of course, it drew economic development to itself. Canals were created to take boats around the fall line falls, so commerce hummed, as it were. And in the 1820s and 30s, the construction of railroads made Columbia a major crossroads. There were railroad bridges constructed across the river here, and this was the only place you could get your train across, so that contributed to the growth of Columbia as well. The Congaree River is a stream that has two primary headwater areas or drainage basins. One is the Saluda River, a little bit northwest of Columbia, and the other one is the Broad River, which is directly north of Columbia and begins in the Blue Ridge province of the Appalachian Mountains. Those two streams join here in Columbia, and that's the starting point of the Congaree River. Recreational activities along the Congaree River are primarily boating, for example, fishing, bicycling, a lot of people coming out for afternoon strolls and walking, bird watching. All of these activities bring urban residents close to the resource and provides unique opportunity for recreational purposes. The relationship between Columbia and the river over the past century was one that I think probably collectively we're not too proud of. The river was a dumping place. At the turn of the 20th century, about 1900 or so, for example, coal was burned to create gas that lit the city, and the leftovers, called coal tar, was dumped in the river. And some of that material, which is carcinogenic, still lies on the floor of the river today. As you may know, SCANA is the corporation that provides electrical power for the city, is undertaking a major project to remove these materials and make the river a safer place.
Back in 2010, DHEC actually contacted SCANA, and they had gotten a call from an individual who had been down at the river, the Congaree River. I think he might have been doing some kayaking or something like that, some recreation, and noticed that he had a tarry substance on the bottom of his feet when he was walking and getting out of the river at the shallow part. So, of course, once we found out about it, we had our folks, our environmental team, on the scene, learning and exploring and evaluating this material. And what we determined and decided is that probably it was from that predecessor site, and even though it wasn't something that our company had done, it's something that we felt was the right thing to do to remediate and to help the city of Columbia clean up that area in the river. So at this point in time, we're developing the new remediation plan and hope to submit that to DHEC and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for review and hopefully approval. And everyone is pretty much in agreement, that this needs to happen. We need to make sure our rivers are clean, especially because Columbia is in the surge of revitalizing itself, and eventually I know there are plans to bring more down to the river. The vista is fabulous, but we want to make more use of our river in Columbia. So the first thing you have to do, the first step, is to make sure it's clean, safe, and ready to go, and then you can have more development.
It's 2015. I'm not even from this city, and I can come along the river and go, how come they didn't build along the river 100 years ago? Or why come they didn't build along the river 40 years ago? And even now, why aren't they building along the river more? I would suspect over the next 10 years that there'll be quite a bit of development along the river. I think it's Columbia's best asset, and I think it's completely missed. God's just done an amazing job down here. I've always thought, well, I can do what I can with the building, But all I got to do is look out the windows, and it's just amazing out here. I don't even have to do anything out here to make it beautiful.
The association with rivers is part of what makes us who we are. And I think to appreciate these rivers and to experience them on an individual level is a worthwhile expenditure of our personal time and our public capital.